Good morning. Welcome to Sandra P's Gen Extra. Welcome to Sandra P's Gen Extra. I just want to make sure I have sound. If anyone is in the chat, anyone returning, I apologize for earlier. I had a water next to me and I ended up spilling it. So luckily, I just drink water when I'm anywhere near my computer or iPad or anything like that. So if anyone comes back into the live, I would appreciate it. If not, I appreciate you anyway. For Team Replay, people that leave comments, like, share, subscribe. I'm grateful for all of my new subscribers. As you can see, today is Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, Olympian, known as the greatest. And he actually also lit the torch at the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta, at which point they gave him another medal. Hello, Linda Gamble. Hello, let me speak to you, Linda Gamble, down in the chat if I can. I want to see, let me just put a one in the chat if you actually can hear me. I would appreciate that so much. 'Cause I had to delete that stream and go live again. I spilled some water down where I was supposed to be working. Good morning. Hey, Angela A. Good afternoon. How are you doing, Angela A? Linda Gamble. Thank you, everyone that is entered. Please hit the like button. Thank you so much. I can be heard. I appreciate that. I'm going to do just a quick Married to Medicine review. And then if anybody has any questions or we discuss the episode, I will get down in the chat. I'm going to pull it up as well over here where I can get down in the chat and talk to you. But meanwhile, I'll just go ahead and start the review. Thank everybody that drops in and also in the bushes. Hello, Sharon Gobble. Thank you for dropping in. I hope this Mindful Monday is going well for everyone. Okay, this is our season 11, episode 10. So these ladies have a lot of history under their belt, all with the exception of Dr. Contessa, even though she's been here before, and Sweet Tea, this is her sophomore season. And this is a pretty good episode. We could tell last week it was going to get better. There's always drama or something that happens on the couples trip. So we start out, we still see the teams. They have the little t-shirts Simone has made. We have the starfish, shark, goldfish, and the snapper. And what Simone tried to do, she says, was put couples together that needed to learn how to work together a little better. She ended up keeping the new couple for herself. And I say that because Dr. Steve and Dr. Mimi are younger than everyone else. They're healthy. And Dr. Steve is a former NFL player. So we have the snapper team had Dr. Jackie, Phaedra, Sweet Tea, and Dr. G. They're kind of at a disadvantage because with the snappers, they're half of a couple, Jackie and Curtis, and Dr. Jackie's athletic. Curtis does not do water sports. He also doesn't fit in the paddle boat, so he's at shore cheering everybody on. So we see them jump, but they didn't jump in the water. They were in a paddle boat, and Dr. Greg was leading. He was doing pretty good, and his boat ended up tipping over. And Heavenly was funny. She was on shore. She was cheering, and she was telling Damon, Heavenly she's the devil on Damon's shoulder. Let him go. Don't fish him out. Let him go. Because Dr. G actually fell in the water. And Damon is scared of water too, but he was trying to help Dr. G. So they had a good day of games. No one got into it. We see the couples getting ready for dinner. Toya says that King is allowed to go shirtless, and King did come down shirtless. But before that, there's a scene where Dr. Heavenly is helping set up the dinner. She gets Dr. Simone's drink ready. Dr. Simone comes down, and Dr. Simone is talking to Dr. Heavenly about Apollo showing up. Dr. Heavenly tells us that Apollo happened to be by Damon's office when she went to bring him lunch one day, and she invited Apollo to the couples trip. And we know Heavenly just did that to cause problems because Apollo's not part of a couple. There's no reason for him to be on the trip. But Dr. Heavenly's trying to clean it up because she know the audience is getting ready to eat her up. She's actually saying that she feels like he can be an example, he and Phaedra, as to how to get along with someone when you're co-parenting, or to get along with someone when they have moved on and are in another marriage. So she's talking about Sweet Tea and Dr. G. Hello, Capricorn Flower. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate everyone coming in. So we can always already see Heavenly's play. She's a menace at these couple trips, and she does not help anyone out, in my opinion. Let me put my banner up. I can see that on here. Okay, thank you. All right, here we go. So Phaedra is getting ready. She's got on a bikini because this actually is supposed to be a pool party. Phaedra has her little bikini on, but she has a jumpsuit that's a cover all. cover all in quotes, and I say that because this jumpsuit has little holes, little cutouts all over the whole body. And then she's got her high heeled shoes, these stilettos, but with a chunkier heel. And Shaq knocks on the door just in time. He helps her finish getting dressed. And next we see Sweet Tea and Dr. Greg kind of prepping each other. Dr. Greg is telling Sweet Tea, don't respond to Quad. Let her do what she's going to do. We don't have to worry about her. So when the couples start to show up, Dr. Scott notices that there's no hot tub. And he's like, well, where's the hot tub? I don't think they have hot tubs. He sees the setup with all the chairs in twos. And he said, this is about to be in the hot seat because he's experienced Dr. Heavenly before on these couple trips under her relationship expert flag, which she's not. Heavenly is there to cause havoc and to be a menace. And she's not going to be any different during this. And she's no expert. I wish we would stop calling her that. So, Dr. Heavenly starts introducing this vibe check game. During vibe check, she's going to ask them questions and they have to, or if they want to, answer the questions. But in front of everybody, they're going to answer the questions. Excuse me. Okay, so during that, Phaedra and Shake walk up. Dr. Heavenly, the camera pans to her because the camera has been busting her this season. Camera pans to her and Heavenly's looking mad. She doesn't want him there. And in her confessional, she said, why you bring a date to this? You don't bring a date. You didn't bring a date last year. You don't bring a date to nothing last. So she's mad. Heavenly's upset. So now I know that her intentions were not good. And everybody knows her intentions weren't good. So Sweet Tea and Greg show up. You get Toya and Eugene. Toya's still talking about a shirtless King. Toya flirts a little bit too much. She also was making jokes in the confessional with Dr. Jean about how King he's muscle bound and young and he can go without his shirt and that sort of thing, kind of poking at Dr. Eugene, who takes it in stride. He knows Toya trolls him, but he doesn't get on her too bad. But sometimes Toya goes a little bit far, like when she was, in my opinion, lusting after Apollo last season. And then now we got Apollo showing up later in the trip. Welcome to the chat, Cynthia. Thanks for stopping in. Sweet Tea is sitting there with Dr. Greg. All the couples are paired off. Heavenly's throwing shade during the instructions. She said, these questions are for the married people or the people that are, they're intimate together, sleeping together, but they're not really married. Quad just said, you can call me out. You can call me out. Heavenly lies and said, I'm not calling anybody out. I'm just saying. These are all super grown people. Everybody's 40 plus, so there's no need for her to do that. But we know how Heavenly is. So the question she's asking, how many dates before the people have intimacy? All the answers vary. Dr. Jackie is the only one that says, well, Heavenly says, we know Jackie waited till she was married. So that's what Jackie has told us. And that the other group kind of laughing about that. Dr. Simone and Cecil say that they were intimate on the first night, and here they are almost 30 years later. So good for them. That worked for them. And Mimi and Steve and Quad and David, they all give various answers. And that's not too bad of a question. Also, Heavenly asks what the parenting style is. Who's the soft parent? Who's the hard parent? Is the way Damon put it. Who's the hard-ass parent versus the soft-ass parent is the way Heavenly put it. And Dr. Damon tells Heavenly, you don't got to do all that. He's steady trying to like calm her down because he see Heavenly, all these couples are there and Heavenly wants to get started. So all the couples having their confessional, they're talking about the interaction that is between Dr. G and Quad because they've started to go back and forth a little bit. Now, Quad, in my opinion, started it. We find out that King has a 9-year-old during the course of the questions. So Quad starts to praise King on his parenting, which is nice, but she starts to preach. And the daughter, she loves her dad so much. This man want me. I feel like I can bust it wide open and have a baby for him. Dr. G, the camera pan to him. Dr. G is unhappy. Sweet Tea's looking kind of embarrassed. Dr. Contessa is making fun in the confessional about what Quad said. Dr. Heavenly is mocking Quad about what she just said. And the husbands are just looking embarrassed. So Quad, as we can tell by now, is tipsy. Every time she says something crazy, she takes another sip. She had rum punch or something. Because in the confessional, Dr. Mimi brought up, She could probably use sparkling water, still water, something by now. So we know Quad getting kind of lit. And she's saying things that she always wanted to say, but she's trying to be, she's trying to be ladylike. So when the intimacy question comes up as to how often weekly, the couples give the various answers. Curtis is teasing Jackie. He says 0. Cecil is teasing Simone. He says 0. Jackie started hitting Curtis with the papers, so we know both of those men are lying. Or I believe both of them are lying. Men sometimes do that, try to put their wife on the hot seat or embarrass them. But they were laughing. They were good sports about it. Quad and King were whispering to each other about the answers, so they even lying about some of the answers. So I don't know if Quad was just trying to get under Dr. G's skin or make her relationship look bigger than it is with King. I'm hearing both, that it's a fake relationship, one of those made for Bravo TV relationships. They appear to have chemistry, and Quad seems like she's in love with the man. King's a little harder to read. Now, I do notice him looking a little bit embarrassed as Quad keeps going on with Dr. G and Sweet Tea. So when the question came up, I think it was the hard, soft parenting question. No, it was actually the how many times a week intimacy. Quad turns around and tells them, you need to be more intimate. You're going to have to get it in more if you're going to have a Lunsford baby. This doesn't sit well with Dr. G. He doesn't like those kind of jokes, and he's very sensitive to Quad. Sweet Tea's face immediately changes. She's upset. Quad is saying, and I'll be the one, I throw the baby shower. And if I throw the baby shower, I throw it with class, honey, class. So this was getting kind of embarrassed. They go to the confessionals. Toya saying, I don't know how Eugene is still sitting. Not Dr. Eugene, that's her husband. She said, I don't know how Dr. G is still sitting there. I'm getting a little concerned because he's getting upset. Dr. G starts to go back and forth with Quad. Sweet Tea starts to go back and forth with Quad. Dr. G put his hand on her leg, like, I got this. We're not gonna argue with her. But Sweet Tea is still arguing with Quad. Quad is getting louder and louder. So after the baby shower, that she'll throw the baby shower, things are still awkward. Quad is still preaching. God prepared me for this man. I'm going to be Miss King. I was Mrs. Lunsford. Now I'm going to be Mrs. King. So the people start getting upset. The couples are looking. Dr. Mimi wants to know, where's the vibe check? Dr. Mimi is new to this group. Dr. Mimi, the couples trip is where they set it off. And Dr. Heavenly does everything she can to throw everybody's dirt up on the air in the screen and see what's going to happen. So Quad stands up. She's yelling. Dr. G's yelling back and forth at her. King is watching the whole thing. I know this is not going to sit well with King. Dr. Simone stands up and said, well, it's been a lovely evening. And, we thank everybody for coming. The group is laughing. Dr. G has stormed off. Sweet Tea went behind him. Dr. Simone says, I got an email. I got a text from the hotel just now, and it's over. Dr. Simone, I hope those people down in Key West did not have to tell you and these ninjas to be quiet. I pray that that's not what happened. But Dr. Simone, she's telling us that she got a text from the hotel that their evening is over. They didn't even get in the pool. There was no hot tub. I didn't see any more. People brought their own drinks. There was a bar there, but I didn't see hors d'oeuvres, anything like that. So there's another event that was ruined. And Dr. Scott earlier, one of the premieres, when they were getting dressed, he said to Contessa, I hope you and Heavenly don't ruin this for everybody. When Heavenly was still throwing jokes against, Dr. Contessa still throwing jokes against Heavenly. It turns out to be Dr. G, Quad that are ruining it for everybody. And then also Sweet Tea had to throw her 2 cents in because she was catching strays too. She didn't do anything to Quad, but Quad was picking at her too. And Quad during what she was saying, she said she's 100% supportive. And Dr. G says, we don't care. We don't care what you're talking about. Quad said, and I don't care. I don't care anything about what you're talking about. And also before they left, I forgot to say, Dr. G got very loud. He was trying to hold Sweet Tea, like tapping her on her shoulder, trying to make her be quiet, even though he was still arguing with Quad. So when they get up to the room, Sweet Tea wants to know, why are you mad? And Dr. G was like, I told you, I don't want any of this negativity. You're not supposed to go back and forth with her. And Sweet Tea is kind of confused. I am too, because Dr. G was the one started going back and forth with Quad. So this, everything has been a nightmare for this night. Dr. G shaking Sweet Tea's shoulder. Dr. G yelling at Sweet Tea. And when Dr. G, he says he's going for a walk, he leaves the room where they're staying in. It looks more like a small studio. So he leaves. And Sweet Tea comes right out after him. She runs into Dr. Contessa's and Dr. Scott, their room. They're going into their room. With them is also Latoya. Toya. So Sweet Tea says, Greg went for a walk. I'm looking for him. Will you call him for me? Because he don't want to talk to me right now. Dr. Scott's going into the room. He didn't want to get into it, but he said, yeah, I'll call him. I'll try to call him. So Sweet Tea's trying to explain, why she was reacting the way she did. And Toya is telling her, Quad was drunk. Dr. Contessa is also taking up for Quad. She was tipsy. She was tipsy. She didn't really mean all that. Quad meant every bit of that and then some, if she could have gotten everything out. But she was drinking. I'll give her that. I think she's going to blame it on that later. But Sweet Tea is upset. Everybody is upset. So Dr. Greg walks off. Dr. Contessa and Scott are there as well. Toya, everybody goes to their respective places. And we see Doctors Damon and Dr. Heavenly are in a room with Dr. Jackie and Curtis. They're kind of debriefing. They're talking about the night. And Dr. Damon says he doesn't see how Dr. G could sit there and listen to everything that Quad was saying to them and also to Sweet Tea. And that he, honestly, he would look like a cow, but he probably would have just took the first plane out. Curtis actually goes a little bit further. He said, you know what? I couldn't return to a group with an ex. So now we're getting the feelings of how everybody felt Dr. G and Sweet Tea returning to the group. I'm going to break the fourth wall because this was on social media. Everybody knows that Dr. Heavenly was the one that solicited Sweet Tea and Dr. Greg to come on the show. She was doing that to help give Quad a storyline. She was doing it to stir things up, make Married to Medicine a little, give it a little boost, because some people thinking it was getting boring. I don't think it's a boring show. I don't like Dr. Heavenly's shenanigans, and I don't like the way she tries to produce. So Curtis saying he wouldn't have come back to a show with a bunch of exes, I can understand that, but Heavenly's sitting right there. They need to address her as to why she brought them back. And then also now she's invited Apollo to the trip. And while she was talking to Dr. Simone, she let us know Apollo's wife, Shireen, cannot even come. Apollo's wife, Shireen, is not going to be on the trip. And Dr. Simone makes it known that, oh, this changes all your plans. So was Dr. Heavenly trying to set Apollo and Phaedra up? Did she think Phaedra was going to be there alone? So that's the kind of stuff that is kind of dirty, and I don't appreciate. I don't know why Dr. Heavenly moves like that, but I'm used to her moving like that over the years. So that was kind of mean for Dr. Heavenly to do. So the next preview we get, this is the end of this episode. The preview we get is the Atlanta Royal Court. They're all dressed up as British royalty for some reason. We see everybody coming in dressed with the traditional dress of England. Heavenly almost trips. She's immediately vile and foul. 2 seconds into the commercial, who put these effing steps here? She does that for her audience, because when I watch, I follow her on IG, and she goes into one of her rants. There's people there that support her and always say the show's nothing without Dr. Heavenly. They find her so funny, but this hasn't always been her humor, and it's not even funny. A lot of times I can't laugh along with her unless she is harmless, but most of the time it's not harmless. Like her picking at Dr. G falling off his paddle boat and telling Dr. Damon to row on past them because they want to win. That's funny. That's Heavenly. But inviting an ex-husband alone, even though this man is married to someone else, into a group of so-called friends. We know she and Phaedra are not friends, even though she'll say, I got no problem with Phaedra. She's always speaking negatively about Phaedra. And Phaedra rarely speaks about Heavenly. She just responds to what Heavenly says about her. But this Royal Court episode is going to be a pretty good episode. There's a lot of talking going on amongst the men. They show us that before they leave the couples trip, Dr. G is squeaking, running his mouth to King. He must have been running his mouth to Quad, too, because King runs after him. We see him running full speed down the beach with somebody in a multicolored short suit. I want to think it's either Cecil or Dr. Steve. We know Dr. Steve likes to get dressed up on vacation. So it's one of them running full speed after King. And I don't know if he and Dr. Greg had physical altercation, but Dr. Greg might have called the law on him even after he started it. So this is getting to be pretty good. We see Quad said, my safety net has been removed. So we don't know what that means yet. Quad is such a drama queen. I have no idea what her safety net being removed means, unless, does it mean that King cannot shoot because Dr. Greg is putting a restraining order or something against him, and that Bravo, being a real company, Bravo TV, lives up to that. They're not going to have somebody with a restraining order shooting with the person that filed the restraining order. Unlike a show we like to watch, Love and Marriage Huntsville, that restraining order doesn't mean nothing. You can have a court order and they're still going to shoot and put you right here next to the person. So we will see next week what's going to happen. This was a pretty good episode. It was kind of action packed. Started out fun with the games, with the couples, when they're teasing each other, all of that. Ended up a little negatively and bringing back bad memories for other people. And Simone, she threw a trip one time where Dr. Heavenly was asking a bunch of questions and got everybody all upset. So I don't know why they allowed her to be part of this, or at least Dr. Simone is the one that allowed her to be part of it. It's not everybody. So I'm going to read a couple of comments. Excuse me. Thank you for staying through the review. Oh, that's right. Jay, thank you for joining the chat because you put something in here I forgot. Toya said Kawhi would play in the baby shower first. See, that is the thing. When they're all around couples, somebody always throw like a ball and then the other person alley-oops it. I didn't realize that Toya had done that. Because Quad did turn around and start saying, and if I throw this baby shower, it's going to be high class. It's going to be, and it is. Quad has immaculate taste. I love to look at a Quad party. And even if you look at some of Quad's parties on IG, when she has her parties, and this is part of Dr. Simone's beef with Quad, the people at her parties are the younger group in Atlanta, younger to me. Rashida will be there, Yandy. It's not Dr. Jackie and the other old Married to Medicine ladies. What they call them, the Golden Girls. It's not them. So for Toya to provoke that and then Quad to pick it up and run, I think it was a setup. They were always going to circle around and jump on Sweet Tea. They're going to get at Phaedra too, but Apollo has not shown up yet. So thank you, Jay. Jay brought that up. And then Mama B says, Quad is not married. She should leave. That's one of Mariah, the originator's digs from years ago. She said, you are not even married to medicine, my love. And she's not. She's not married to medicine. She's married to a leasing car business or something, which is fine. And I lean toward her and King being a real couple, and I think that is good for Quad. I don't think Gregory is as happy for Quad as he claims. I don't think Quad is as happy for Gregory as she claims. I think they like to dig at each other. But this is going to be a good episode. Sorry, something on my tongue. Cynthia Christian says, Quad should never come back to the show. I don't think she should have came back to the show either. She needed that check. And I honestly think if Quad's sister circle had done something like The View or even The Talk and took off, we wouldn't see Quad anymore because Quad was saying, these ladies are my real sister in this circle. She said it at a party and she waited until the end to even acknowledge the Married to Medicine ladies. And I don't think she did. I think they left and then she might have acknowledged them. But that is a part of the reason also they kind of like started getting into it with each other because Quad, she moved that way with Mariah. Once she gets what she needs out of a person, she's quick to move on and she's not concerned with being that person's friend anymore. So we've seen it. We see what Quad does and can do. And thank you all for being here during this live Married to Medicine review. And I also love Team Replay. Just get down in the comments and let me know what you think about this episode, what you think about the review. I appreciate all my new subscribers. I'm noticing newer subscribers come over here, and that means a lot to me. I try to answer every comment. I do see every comment. I'll at least heart or leave a like on it. So I thank you all so much. This was a good episode. I think next week will be good as well with the continuing episode. I want to see what happens when Apollo shows up. Because it looks like in the preview, Phaedra is saying, why are you worrying about who I date? I thought she said that to Dr. Heavenly, but she could be saying that to Apollo as well. Because Shake keeps saying that he knows Apollo. He knows his wife well also, but he doesn't hang out with them. I know Atlanta is small, but I don't know if Shake and Apollo are actually in these same circles. So we'll see. But this is being interesting. This is getting interesting. Excuse me. And Jay says, I'm actually happy she came back. She's good for ratings. I'd rather Quad than Phaedra, who's definitely not married to medicine, but she's also good for ratings. Jay's laughing. That's a good point, Jay. A lot of people do. Quad actually, she has heard the Quad Squad. They love Quad. I'm on the fence with Quad. Sometimes I like Quad's shenanigans, but Quad gets on my nerves when she has amnesia. Quad will forget everything she ever did to somebody else and cry a river about things that people do to her. And she'll also forgive selectively. So now we saw the ladies last season. They sent her home from Napa. They had her crying. Dr. Simone, I thought, was very out of place in New York. Keep bringing up the tragedy that happened at Quad's house, even after being asked not to. But Quad is easily forgives that. Dr. G, I can understand Quad having real beef toward, because I think she's still protecting Dr. G. I don't think we know the depths of their relationship and what went on behind closed door. They shared with us at a reunion when they were in separate rooms. Andy was speaking to both of them, and Dr. G was saying that Quad had pulled a kitchen knife on him, and she was saying, yes, that is true, but Dr. Greg had hands and feet on her or was dragging her or something like that. So they were a disaster toward the end. And then what Toya mentioned as well, Greg might be having a hard time because they're sitting here bragging about intimacy 15 times a week. Now we watch them coach each other for the end, so we don't know if that's true or not. It could be true, and if it is true, I don't think Dr. Greg loves it because for 3 years, the last part of their marriage, Quad has cut Greg off in intimacy. And I understand that because allegedly Greg was cheating. There was a woman he was caught in a hotel with. We don't know the details to that, but their divorce did get kind of nasty. Mama B's doesn't like Quad. She's self-absorbed. She is self-absorbed. She's used to being the youngest one. Quad is the baby of the group. Mariah used to treat her like the little sis, had her kind of under her wing. And then I felt like Quad betrayed Mariah. I did not like the way that happened with those women grouping up with these executives and allowing them to take a sister's creation like that. That I don't appreciate that at all. That was terrible. Mama Bees, I knew exactly who you're talking about when you said self-absorbed. I don't see Dr. Jackie as that. I don't even see Dr. Heavenly as self-absorbed. Dr. Heavenly is kind of a Sweet Tea called her Dennis the Menace, and she means that, and it's terrible. But when Dr. Heavenly was just the stuff starter and she would do fun shade with people, Dr. Heavenly used to be funny. I don't like her vulgarity. I feel it's relatively new. I feel she gets it from the people that she surrounds herself with. Dr. Heavenly likes to be around certain bloggers that are really negative toward, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, Black women, and she uses them to sometimes even go at her castmates. In my opinion, I've noticed certain things that happen. And we even, this season, I've seen T.S. Madison in 2 episodes this season. T.S. Madison was at the Freaknik party, the Whitnick party, the opening episode that Dr. Simone threw with Cecil, just in the background. And then she's in Dr. Heavenly's chair during another scene. So that, to me, that's just a dog whistle. Like, ladies, you get yourself in order. Don't attack me publicly because I got a big enough platform to handle you. Even when Dr. Jackie got in trouble lying on Black women about, they want time off work, and so they're up at the doctor lying and complaining of pain, and they're in there 25 times during the course of a pregnancy, which is not true. She gave that little apology. She's given money to the charity now for that cause, gone to the White House a couple of times for that cause, trying to clean up her reputation. So I see the move that these ladies do. Jay said Dr. Greg was fit to be tied yesterday. He was, Jay. He was so upset. And the man, he couldn't soothe himself. Even Toya said in one of the confessionals, she said, well, Quad was drunk. That's her excuse. What's Dr. G's excuse? Because we didn't see Dr. G looking like he was out of it. But when the camera would pan to Dr. G, he was tight. That look on his face was almost scary. I could see him bucking up in a woman's face. And Sweet Tea, I don't see her being the type to take it. Quad wasn't either. But I found him aggressive. And then when he was, we good, we gonna be good, we gonna be good, and holding T on her shoulder, I didn't like that. And even Quad was saying, my man would never yell at me like that, because Quad was drunk, in my opinion, but Quad was also kept on matches back there at the fire, and she ended up running up out of there. He couldn't take the heat. He ran out the kitchen. Jay said, yeah, Dr. Heavenly can really take it too far sometimes. She can. I wish she would dial it back a little bit. I think she is hearing a lot of the criticism, but she's loudly denying it. She's going on certain YouTubers' page, a lot of the Black men that review these shows, and she's outright denying that she said certain things that we have seen her say. One of the things she said, I didn't say nothing about this girl's reproductive. I didn't say nothing about no endometriosis. And we hear Dr. Heavenly speaking about Sweet Tea, that she knew she couldn't have children when she sent the baby emoji DM. Dr. Heavenly did do that. There's another creator that covers a lot of different things, but one of the things that she covered was Dr. Heavenly speaking against Sweet Tea, and it's How Why See It TV. There's a why, How Why See It TV. If you look at that coverage of Dr. Heavenly, she shows a doctor who tells you that endometriosis is not something you can just, oh, I feel like I got endometriosis. No, there's a certain specific test to it, and it has to, they take a piece of the tissue and they send it in, and it's actually a lab that will say this is endometriosis. So that's not something that Sweet Tea would know unless Dr. Heavenly is saying that Sweet Tea had already had that test. Sweet Tea has said no, she hasn't. Sweet Tea has talked more about her medical issues than I would, but I appreciate her sharing that. A lot of women do go through that, even in their 30s. So Sweet Tea's a young woman married to an older man, even though she throws shade at the older ladies. You're going to be in a circle of old ladies because you married an old man. And even throwing this Phaedra met Shake at the mixed luncheon, the speed dating, where one party's going to be older, then the other party's going to be younger. So that whole thing is wild. She absolutely said that, and it was not great, but I believe she did know it beforehand. So Jay said two things can be true, or I interpreted what Jay said as that. So Dr. Heavenly did absolutely say that. That's agreed. How I See It TV also found the clip where Heavenly says that, and then pulls in what the doctor said, shows the doctor. So she did absolutely say that. And Dr. Heavenly challenged. She said, show it to me. So I don't know if she sees which she might ignore it, because I think she was copied Bravo Andy. I want Bravo Andy to pause Heavenly, or either have another stern talk with her and let her know this is not the way to move with these castmates. Phaedra is going back to Real Housewives of Atlanta. So Phaedra wants to get out of there anyway. I'm excited to review Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't know a lot of the new ladies. I started following everybody. I'm familiar with all of the seasons. After Nene left, I wasn't as into it, but I still watch it. And there are four of us reviewing that together as a group. So it's dropping, which is dropping, drop the T, dropping extra sassy tea talk. Sassy TV from the 803, myself, Sandra Peasgen extra, and then tea talk with your girl. So we're going to all be on, we haven't specified which night, but either the night, not the night it airs, but probably the night after. Because when we do the reviews, we're off the cuff. When we throw topics off, we're off the cuff. Each one of us will bring a topic. We don't know what the rest of the three ladies are going to say. So that makes it really exciting. I hope everybody joins us for that. And like, share, subscribe to all of the ladies that will be covering that. And I'm going to end this review. I thank you so much for showing back up when I put the second stream in. So I appreciate your patience. And Capricorn Flower, Mama Bees, Jay, Cynthia, Linda Gamble was in here. Every single person that was in the chat. Sharon Gobble, Mahogany Meeks. Hey, little sis, Mahogany Meeks was in earlier. So I appreciate everybody. Thank you for watching this Married to Medicine review. And Angela A as well. Thank you all. And have a great rest of your day. Mindful Monday. Thank you.